Yeah, but I do want to have the empty chairs there for effect, because I think the three candidates that showed up today deserve a lot of credit. There's not a lot of opportunity for tribal members to ask questions of our candidates. There's one forum that the tribe hosts, and as previous candidates can attest, you maybe get 2 or 3 minutes of airtime, maybe 5 minutes, because of the number of candidates and the structure of that forum. This forum, because we only have 3, we're going to get to know these 3 candidates really well. And you're going to get a lot of tough questions. And I really applaud you guys for being here. You deserve a lot of credit. And I think the effect of having 5 empty chairs actually amplifies the credit you guys are getting for being here. So let me introduce myself. I'm Brian Mercier. I sit on the board of the PAC. And moderate these sessions. The PAC, as you all know, was formed about 6 years ago to essentially create more opportunity for tribal members to ask candidates questions and get to know their candidates. The PAC was formed because we see that our electoral process in Grand Ronde is flawed. There's not enough opportunity for folks to talk about issues and things that are important to us as tribal members. We tend to vote in family blocks and friends, which is a good thing to do to express your love, but probably not the best thing to do to elect our most qualified leaders. We need to know where folks stand on the issues, how they'll vote, because it impacts us. And these forums are intended to do that. That's the primary mission of the PAC, is to create opportunities and to strengthen our electoral process and create opportunities for tribal members to ask questions. The other thing the PAC does is we use the free $50 that every Oregonian has. We gather those up from our members, and we then endorse 3 candidates that we financially support. Because running a campaign in our elections in Grand Ronde are also very expensive. And many people can't afford the mailings. That can cost upwards of almost $2,000 now to get a single mailing out to all our tribal members. So the money we pull together from the free $50 that everybody has in their Oregon political tax credit can at least partially help offset some of that cost. And that's also what we do out here. We are strictly a volunteer organization. No one profits from our efforts. We use our funds strictly for the materials and the cost to offset of a campaign. And so that's, I think, true to our nature and our mission here. How these forums operate, I think all 3 candidates have been in these before. I try to be impartial and allow for equal time among the candidates. So if you notice me tapping on a microphone like this, that's me asking you guys to wrap up the question. And I will try my darndest to make sure everybody gets about the same amount of time here. You 3 candidates as well are giving your consent to be posted on the internet. So this video will be posted for all tribal members to see and hear the questions that you're answering today, so keep that in mind.
Well, Lahayam, John George, so I really appreciate the opportunity today from the PAC and the people here today. Thank you for taking your time out for coming here to listen to us. As you all may know also, I am up for re-election this year, so that's one of my reasons why I'm running also too, but I feel like that I've always, as a tribal member, 21-year employee of the Confederate Tribes of Grand Ronde, I've always looked at as the leadership in our tribe as a very honorable position too, so that I do want to bring forward with my memberships for honesty and ethical leadership, and I really want to look at as a whole, it's for all of our membership, and so the economic viability for us to try to see that each and every member is treated equally, for them as a member in this tribe, no matter where they live, so that but we do want to look at the sustainability of our tribe, too, and I really am highly and a spoken person for for our culture also, so that each of us can relate to our cultural identity too as a tribe, you know, and not just within our tribe, but also with the partnerships of our governments to our local governments, you know, and the governments, the federal governments that we meet with too, that they know who we are as a tribe and who we are, you know. And so the sovereignty of our tribe, I feel, is very important, that we speak out for that, you know. And also I think I want to actually also as one of my this year's platforms is to look out for the advocacy for our membership too, through our programs, you know, through being able to, you know, because not every person may want to get up and kind of speak about, you know, what is going on within their programs. And so that way I think that we look for an advocacy person to actually help those people get through the system, get through maybe the difficulties that they have, you know, with our tribal system, you know, and that being in, you know, either it be ICW, foster care, you know, health issues, you know, the things, so that way that, you know, some of them may not want to get up, but it allows them to have a voice also to really put their concern forward and being able to come, if it be at a council meeting, and it be at a general council meeting, you know, you're in front of council or anything. So I just really want our membership to know that's who I am, and that's who a person that I really do is for my membership. So thank you.
Good morning. I would also like to thank you all for taking the time this Saturday morning to come and listen to us. Our tribe has a lot of important issues going on right now, and I think the quickest way and the most important way that the members can get their voice is to vote in this election this year. I encourage you all to put aside the rumors, the secondhand information, and listen to the candidates, ask them questions, form your own opinion on these candidates, and don't rely on the secondhand information. Listen carefully to them and choose the best candidate for this position. As I've said in the past, I am an independent candidate. I have no political agendas. I have no vendettas. I just simply want to use my experience and my education and my passion for all members of the tribe. Every year we hear a couple terms. We hear change, we need change, or we need a tribal council who serves all tribal members. But it seems to be frustrating because we hear that every year, but we never get there. So I just hope that you guys will really spend this time, ask us a bunch of questions, and then also follow up with us at the end of this if you have some clarified questions and you want to pull us to the side. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
My name is Ann Lewis, and I too want to thank everyone for being here. I'm running for tribal council for many reasons. First, because I don't feel we as the general council members really have a voice anymore. I think our rights as tribal members have been diminished over the years. I think it's been strategically done. And I want to bring that back. I think the tribe should be run by the people. That's the backbone of this tribe. In doing that, I think we need transparency. I don't think having our financial records, our business records, having our own personal records unable to be accessed is right. We, as the tribal membership, should know what's happening in our tribe, and we should have a clear understanding of what's happening and have a right to say if we agree with what's happening at our tribe. Also, the endowments. I have a real problem with the fact that a loophole, which it appears to me as a loophole, was found to use the accrued interest on our endowments. That interest belongs to that endowment. If you have a bank account, you put money in it, that money grows interest, that belongs to you. Those endowments were set up to ensure our future is protected. They were meant to grow themselves based on that interest. Some of those endowments are not fully filled, and they need to be. We need to be protected. We have a threat looking at us right now. That Cowlitz casino is right up the road from Portland. It is going to have an effect on us. They're looking at breaking ground this year. If we don't have those endowments in place, what's going to happen to us? We need to be protected, and those endowments should not be being spent. They should not be accessed. And if it is a fully funded endowment, then that money should be used towards items that were meant for that education, the elders, or whatever specifically it was intended for. Not for spending it on frivolous investments that are only being thrown in the trash can. Not successful for our tribe. The other thing is respect for the membership. When I go to a tribal council meeting, I want to have my tribal council speak to me. I want to have them look at me, address me, recognize us as people, as members of our tribe. Not a tribal council that's sitting there staring at their iPad, making notes, and not answering. If I ask a question, we deserve an answer. The ordinances. It feels to me like our ordinances are being used to manipulate our Constitution. That was not the intent. The intent was we were supposed to protect that Constitution at all costs, and we rely on it. I don't think these ordinances should be used to manipulate language to get around our Constitution. That Constitution is protect the membership. And I believe our tribal council, lastly, is accountability. They need to be accountable for their actions, accountable to the membership. And that's the reason I'm running for tribal council. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Well, in this, because in some sense it becomes, I don't know, say not difficult or anything else, but you're actually talking to a current tribal council member versus two non-tribal council members. So sometimes the information, that I may have versus the other two candidates that may not, but it's still carry a voice, I should say, for in my part of looking at an economic concern towards our tribe. So then, and I guess I do want to claim though too that today I do speak for myself. I will not speak for the other 8 council members, that are currently also sitting on the tribe. So I don't want it to feel like that their voice or what there is. This is my personal. Okay, and so, looking at that, for one, it's as we say, it's a threat. It is looking at, and for me, taking a proactive look at, one, I think, I guess, you have to present yourself, I guess, to now the state government also about that, because you also, by building the partnerships with those state government officials and stuff too, you've also got to look at then what else can we do, for that, because now we see the Coquel tribe, putting in a class 2 gaming facility in there. And so now we also got to look at then what could we do to partnership with the state governments and stuff too, about discussing how do you keep the dollars in Oregon instead of driving across the river and going to Washington. So in some sense for me, I want to look at then, you know, taking some type of action and maybe looking at a Class 2 facility, you know, for us, you know, outside there because, you know, our compact says we can only have one casino and that's Class 3 gaming. So then looking at another facility, you know, closer to the metro area also. So too, making a step towards that and looking at then let's, you know, putting our share, you know, of another facility or something to create some type of revenue or any type of, you know, I guess of a viable business also that would be in maybe in getting back to our supporters of the Portland area also some type of maybe a viable business there too that could raise other revenues for that. So that comes from the long-term relationship that we have with our other government officials to working together to partner that for that. So that's one of my
Were you done?
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I know you're raising your hand.
So to summarize, it sounds like you'd look to partner with the state to try to create another facility closer to Portland within the state of Oregon to keep revenue here in the state.
And I would support that
Okay, great. That's a great idea.
as one
Okay.
council.
As one, yeah. Brenda or Ann, you want to, Brenda? Okay, go ahead.
So our tribal members have been talking about this for years, as far back as I can remember. We cannot continue to rely on the casino for years and years and years before the Cowlitz situation even came up. So again, we're going to go back to economic development, economic diversification, other investments. I have a list of several that I would like to see. I would like to see us create a nice RV park here in Grand Ronde. I am an avid RVer, and I know that Seven Feathers, Cow Creek has a beautiful RV park that's full all the time. Something like that. We need to look at investing in Portland in some way. I'm partial to land, to property, to buying, to developing places that we can rent and have a revenue coming in on a monthly basis. Like John said, I wish we did have more information. I wish we had some of the information that he has because he sits on tribal council. So that all goes back to the openness and involving tribal members. I know that a couple of us candidates have talked about an investment board, an investment committee. I think we have some brilliant tribal members who have been successful in their private lives or in their business lives investing. So I think it would be great to incorporate our general council members in on that. I'm not sure, again, I don't sit on tribal council, so I'm not sure about the opening up another venue, Class 2, but it would be something to look into closer to the Portland area or somewhere if we could, but again, I don't have all the information on that. But I think it goes back to, like I said, the openness and sharing with tribal members and involving them. Like I said, I have lots of ideas on investments that we could do. And I would be happy once I got on tribal council to push for those. Thank you.
As many of you know, I was the commercial real estate manager for the Grand Ronde Tribe. So in doing that, I worked for the Economic Development Department, and I was very, very involved in different aspects and was able to make suggestions. And I had a lot of ideas, and I would have liked to have seen the tribe because I am very, very supportive of diversification because I don't think we can continue to rely on the casino. We're bigger than that. We have resources. We can use those resources and put them to work. I think what's important is that we provide jobs so that our tribal members are not reliant on what is provided solely by that casino. So living wage jobs, I think that's extremely important on preparation for the Cowlitz Casino. In doing that, some of the ideas I had, I don't know why we are not putting land on I-5 in trust. I really wanted to do that. I made that suggestion many times. I kept hearing it can't be done. However, the Cowlitz tribe has property in trust in Salem. I do believe it's possible. And as John made mention, working with our government officials, maybe we need to do that to start pushing for getting it. One of the ways that I would look at it is, I understand we make a lot of money on diesel fuel. Why don't we have a nice big truck stop so we can get, you know how many trucks go down I-5 every single day? That would be a huge revenue for our tribe. I don't think we need to put our resources in gaming all the time. There's lots of opportunities. Chamala Station. Why aren't we developing that? We own it. We could have a hotel there. We could have a restaurant there. We could have a gas station there. We could have lots of things there because we own it. Why should we be letting somebody else make a profit on property we own? We know how to run a hotel. We know how to run a restaurant. We know how to run a gas station. Take advantage of our resources. Thank you.